Welcome to another episode of Second Take. It is episode 20, and we have something very special in store for y'all. We decided to do a setup called Around the Horn. It's a TV show, and a show on ESPN, where everybody gets to debate something. We have a few guests with us today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Someone's going to win. We have a mediator, and that's Ron, and he's about to introduce himself, and it's going to be a very fun show for us.
Thank you, Jillian. My name is Ron Lastimosa. I am the special guest for Second Take. I am also going to be the host today. I would just like to go around and introduce yourselves to the audience. We'll start with Anthony.
Hey, I'm Anthony Benton. I go to Boise State, and I'm just trying to make it in this communication business. So glad to be here.
Armand.
Hello, my name is Armand Sadler. You guys know me, one of the co-hosts of Second Take. Excited to be here, episode 20. Excited to do Around the Horn. I'm ready to win, ready to crush this competition. They're not ready for me, so let's get it going, man. Forget the introductions. Let's just get right into it. Nah, go ahead.
And last but not least, we have Mayank.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mayank. I'm a incoming junior at the University of Texas, and I'm here to drop some knowledge on these fools.
Oh.
Okay.
So the trash talking has already begun. All right, let's get to it. The first topic. Has the Heisman lost its value? Debate on this. Jillian, go.
All right, I'm going to claim that the Heisman has lost its prestige, and I am extremely correct on this. If you look back in the history of the Heisman, we have some very notable people who've won it. Names like Earl Campbell, Archie Griffin, Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, these type of names. But when you get to the 90s is where it cuts off. The last big name we hear is Ricky Williams. He was successful in the NFL, and after Ricky Williams, there was very few players who had this same success. Following Ricky Williams, we had Ron Dayne in 1999, Chris Wank in 2000, Eric Crouch, Carson Palmer, a name we know, 2002, that's one of them. And then we go to 2004 where we have Matt Leinart. Following that is Troy Smith, Tim Tebow, Sam Bradford, Mark Ingram. Where are they now? Yes, they were big in college, but did they ever go anywhere in the NFL? Not much. And then we have Cam Newton. He was one of the few. And then following that is RG3. We're still waiting to see how his career is going to be. He did have a great rookie season, but it could have just been that. Then following RG3 is my least favorite person, Johnny Manziel, who he will be a bust like the others who have won the Heisman in the past 10 years. And then, of course, Jameis Winston from last year. But because of this, I just...
Strong words, Jillian. Strong words.
Oh, am I cut off?
Yes. What do you think about the Heisman Trophy?
Well, I thought what Jillian said was really nice and everything, but I got some stuff to say about that because yes, most of those players didn't go much places in the NFL, but it is still a prestigious college award. It is the most prestigious college award. So you can't take that away from the NCAA. Now, another argument could be, does success in college translate to the NFL as in Heisman winners? Because you still have Cam Newton, who is doing very well. RG3 was injured, so you cannot say he hasn't done well. You look at Matt Leinart, he didn't really get that many chances. He got injured. You look at Mark Ingram, Saints, all of their running backs have been bad. They're not a running team. They're a passing team. Mark Ingram started to pick it up last year. So we really can't go into depth. Tim Tebow, everyone knew he was going to be a bust. All he did was run. He can't pass. So, and Johnny Manziel, we got to just wait and see because he is with the Browns, and they've had over 19 quarterbacks in the last, 20 years. So we don't know if the Browns are just killing quarterbacks or if they're not getting the right ones.
Stronger rebuttal, Anthony. What about you, Armand? What do you have to say?
I absolutely disagree with what Joe has to say. I don't think that the Heisman Award is awarded to people based on how they do in the NFL later on. It's awarded based on how you did in college. Therefore, it's, as Anthony said, it's the most prestigious award you can get. These people are awarded because how they did in college. Johnny Manziel, great in college. Cam Newton, great in college. Matt Leinart, great in college. Yes, some of them didn't do that well in the NFL, but that's not what the award is about. It didn't lose its value just because one player one year is better than another player another year. Johnny Manziel, in my opinion, was a better quarterback than Matt Leinart, but that doesn't mean that the Heisman gains value because Johnny Manziel won it after Matt Leinart won it. It's the same award. It's just that there might be better players one season than another season. You can't judge the Heisman based off of different good player years. Yeah, we've had some great years. We've had some bad player years. But at the end of the day, the Heisman is for the best college player, not for the best college player who goes on to be successful in the NFL. So
That's a very good point, Armin. The NFL and college are two different spectrums in the football world. And Mayank, what do you have to say about that?
I completely agree with what you just said. You look at the University of Florida. If you ask a University of Florida alum who's the best player in Florida history or one of the best, they're going to tell you Tim Tebow. Just because Tebow hasn't really worked out in the NFL doesn't really mean he didn't have a successful college career. You look at people like Troy Smith and Danny Werfel and Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson had a great NFL career, but you have to separate the two, and that's exactly the point that Armand made.
great.
Okay. Good job, Mayank. So after the first round, we have Armand leading with 3 points, Jillian and Mayank with 2 points, and Anthony with 1. All right, next topic. Carmelo Anthony today said he has opted out of his final contract with the Knicks and is considered a free agent. Any thoughts on where he's going to be headed? Mike, start off.
Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan. I've been reading tons and tons of rumors. 2 days ago said, yeah, Melo's coming to Chicago for sure. And then yesterday came out saying, oh, I want the max. And the Bulls can't really do that. But reading stuff today, he's been talking to Noah since the All-Star break. Thibodeau's even put in a call. We all know Rose doesn't like speaking, but Rose apparently put in a call. If he wants to win, he'll go to Chicago. And New York is if he wants money, he should stay in New York. But with Bargnani and Stoudemire opting in today, that's a dead place to stay. I mean, that you're not going to win there. So Chicago.
Okay, Anthony?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what he just said because New York, they've got Phil Jackson, they've got Derek Fisher, but Melo, his heart isn't in New York anymore. And for Chicago, he's already been talking to Jakeem Noah, like you said, and it's a great system. They got a great coach. They're going to model that system around Carmelo. I mean, Derrick Rose, we don't know how good he's going to be, so Derrick Rose is going to take a back seat, and I know he can because he's proven that he's a humble player. Now, with Carmelo, the question is, will Carmelo be mature enough to take that pay cut? Because me personally, I don't think Carmelo's a mature player. And
okay.
Armand?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Anthony and Mayank said. I think that Chicago is the best place for Carmelo to go. They're a very defensive team. They don't have a star. They don't have a guy they can go to offensively who can anchor their offense. So Carmelo is the perfect guy for that. And at this point in his career, he shouldn't be looking for money. He should be looking for rings. He's one of the top 5 best basketball players in the league right now. So, but a lot of those LeBron has rings, and everyone compares Melo to LeBron. So right now, Melo needs to look to get rings if he wants to be considered among the greats. Chicago is a place for him to go. With Derrick Rose coming back, I think Derrick Rose is going to be mature enough to change up his game and not be so aggressive offensively because that's what's gotten him injured. He's going to play like a true point guard, pass the ball to Melo, and they're going to be very successful.
What about the Rockets and all these other trade rumors? Jillian, give me your insight.
All right, let me say one thing. I completely agree with Anthony that Melo is an extremely immature player. I think he cares about the pay cut, and I don't think he's going to be happy with it. So he's going to go to the team that offers the most, but he's also going to go to a team where that he can be the leader because that's how Melo is. He's a selfish player. He wants to be the franchise player. The Bulls already have their franchise player. He needs to go elsewhere where he is a franchise player, where you think of that team and you think Melo. When you think the Knicks, you thought Melo. He doesn't want to be there anymore. I don't care if he's there or not. But the type of team he's going to go to is the same way. The Rockets, I don't see him getting along well with Dwight Howard. It could happen, but we still see that as James Harden's team. Whether James Harden steps aside like Dwayne Wade did in Miami, that'd be a different story. Melo can end up anywhere. Anybody will take him. Could he go back to the Nuggets? Maybe. I don't know what he wants to do. Houston is a possibility. I agree with that, but I'm not sure about the Bulls at all.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about, in the same spectrum, LeBron James. He has the option. He has not opted out yet with the Heat. But if he does, where do you think he'll end up? Anthony, go ahead.
Well, if LeBron, I believe he will opt out, and if LeBron were to opt out, I feel like he has about 3 to 4 options where he can go to a team and be successful. I mean, I think the Warriors are a great spot for him.
Why do you say that?
Well, I say the Warriors are a great spot because, yes, they have Andre Iguodala, but there's been talks of them getting rid of Klay Thompson for Love. You put Love, LeBron, and Steph Curry on the same team. Steph Curry's a great playmaker. He's going to be able to dish out to Love and LeBron. LeBron, he loves running through in the lane and dishing out the shooters. Love and Curry can both shoot the three perfectly.
Wow.
So that's a match made in heaven. And you still have Bogut and you still have Lee in the post. He didn't have that in Miami at all. So that's just murder for any other team.
Okay. Armand, what do you think?
I completely agree with what Anthony said. I think the Warriors would be a great place for him. As Steph Curry is a playmaker, but LeBron is a playmaker, as he said. Steph Curry can knock down shots. Kevin Love will be able to knock down shots. But I also think a lot of people are talking about the New York Knicks, and I don't really think that would be a good fit for LeBron James. I think that he should look into the Rockets rather than Carmelo Anthony, because involved, he could get Chandler Parsons involved. If they kept him around, he could get James Harden involved. LeBron James is a pass-first type player, and he's a playmaker. I think that the Rockets would be perfect for him. He would have so many options to pass to, as he would in the Warriors. So LeBron needs to go to a team where there are a lot of scoring options, because he's a great passer. So I think the Warriors and the Rockets would be perfect for him.
Jillian?
Well, the Rockets are said to have like the top hand right now, but I don't see it happening because we saw how Dwight reacted with Kobe in LA. Dwight is a selfish player. He may be my favorite, but I understand he's childish and he's selfish. I don't even know if LeBron's going to opt out. I think it'd be in his best interest to stay. The only thing I can see about LeBron's future is he's going to end his career in Cleveland. He's still young. He's still probably going to play about at least 8 more years. So I see him going back to Cleveland in about 5 years or so. I don't think he's going to go back to Cleveland now because I think he does want more rings, and that's not going to happen on Cleveland. The Warriors, again, I don't know. We see that as Steph Curry's team. LeBron would make it his team. He's just like Carmelo. He wants to be the franchise player. So wherever he goes, I still think he's going to stay in Miami. I'm not sure. I think if he was smart, he'd stay in Miami.
Okay. And Mayank?
LeBron is going to stay in Miami. There's about 120 million reasons why. There's also, with the Warriors, they don't have the cap space. If they were to get Love, they'd be trading Lee, Thompson, picks to get Kevin Love, and at that point, they'd have to clear out Iguodala to get the necessary amount of cap space to even sign LeBron at like a $15 million deal. So at this point, I think he has 2 options: either go back to Cleveland right now with the number 1 pick, Kyrie, Deion Waiters, and Tristan Thompson, or put your faith in Pat Riley. And at this point, I don't think we have any reason, to doubt Pat Riley and what he's doing down there in Miami with 2 rings in 4 years.
It's important you talked about the cap space. I think that's something that no one else really talked about, because with LeBron James as a star player, at the end of the day, he wants to get paid. Okay, so after the first round, we have Mike leading with 8 points, Jillian with 7, and Anthony with 7. I'm sorry, Armand, but you are eliminated. What do you have to say?
It hurts. It sucks. I came here ready to win, but you play to win, you give it your all, and if you lose, you lose. But good luck to the rest of the competitors. I'm Team Anthony right now.
Okay, so let's move on to the second round. We'll start off with Mayank. Who do you think is the front runner for the World Cup as of now?
I know they just lost, but I say Italy. Costa Rica's an excellent team. They've been playing really well. But if you look at Game 1, England, I don't think they were slouches, even though they've been eliminated. Italy has the best midfield in the world with Pirlo, Marchisio, and Cambiaso. And then defensively, they have 4 world-class players headlining that Chiellini and stuff. But the reason why I think they're going to win is I think they match up well with the other favorites, Germany. They beat Germany in Euro 2012. Spain's out. Portugal's about to be out. USA's been playing well. Other favorites include, who else has won? Brazil. I think they match up with Brazil because Brazil's all offense. Defensively, they've been really struggling. And I just think Italy's most well put together. They've been playing together the longest. Most of the players are from Italy itself, so I think they're the favorites at this point.
Okay, you don't worry about the age with Buffon and Pirlo.
That's true, but with the amount of time in between, and the fact of the matter is, if they do win this next game, they have a good week in between the next game. I think they can step back up, and they have enough players to where they can have two national teams. You know, that's how talented they are on their bench. So I think they're the favorites at this point.
All right. What do you think, Anthony?
Well, I'm thinking Team USA. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not thinking Team USA. I'm actually thinking Brazil. One, because as an athlete, I know how much home court advantage means. And Brazil, they like you said, they have great offense. And I think that home court advantage can push their defense to the end. And I think that they will come out on top, riding with all their fans. So,
okay.
That's my team.
And Jillian?
All right, going in the past few weeks, I was thinking Germany was one of the front runners. After their tie with Ghana, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Like Anthony, I'm thinking Brazil. I'd love to say USA, and we are getting pretty far. We play Portugal this afternoon. If we beat Portugal, we will advance, and I think we're making it pretty far, but I doubt the U.S. will ever win a World Cup in the near future. It's just too dominated by other teams. Brazil does have the home court advantage, if you want to say. And, of course, there's Neymar. Neymar cannot be stopped. It is almost impossible to stop him. The only time I really saw Brazil struggle so far was against Mexico, and the only reason they struggled was because Ochoa, the Mexican goalie, was literally incredible and stopped everything. That does not mean that Mexico is going to go far. Mexico had no offense and no defense. They only had a goalie. However, Brazil played amazing offense and amazing defense because, it was a draw. It was a 0-0 draw. Mexico couldn't score, and that's because of the Brazilian defense. The Brazilian offense is too good. I see Brazil getting it all.
You had me at you said the United States will never win a World Cup in the next few years. Okay. And so let's go on with go back to the NBA. Joel Embiid has reported a foot injury, and we'll discuss how this will affect the NBA draft and others like him who's had injuries pop up weeks before the draft. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, I think it's going to affect him a lot, and I think teams are going to be way more careful with picking him. He was a projected first-round pick from all the mock drafts in the beginning, but now people have him falling as far as 10 to 15. And this is because when you look at big men that get injured, they usually don't translate well into the NBA. For example, starting off Sam Bowie, who was taken in the 1984 draft right before Jordan. He had injuries and kept getting injuries, and his injuries ended his career. Greg Oden, he's still trying to even climb back just to make a roster. He's on the Heat right now, but who knows how long he'll be there. They have the situation with LeBron. They might need to get rid of him. But then you also have players like Blake Griffin who overcame it. So you can only let time tell because you don't know with big men.
Okay. Jillian?
Just like Anthony said, we can't predict it. I can't tell you if he's going to be good or not because of this foot injury. But at the end of the day, the NBA is a business just as the NFL. When they see a draft prospect that has any injury past, they question it. Because it's a business. They're investing their money in this player, and they're investing a lot. It's millions of dollars, and they don't want the slightest thing to pop up. They want to get their money's worth out of this player. So you're seeing this foot injury on him, and that's going to hurt his draft stock. I think he's going to fall down in the draft, but he's still most definitely going to get drafted. He could be a Greg Oden, or he could be a Blake Griffin. We don't really know. The issue with, we all know Greg Oden. He's only played, I think, 60 games in 7 years. So it can go either way. I can't really determine that right now, but I know his draft stock is hurt because of this injury.
Good point. And Mayank, what do you think?
He's going to be a top 10 pick.
Still a top 10 pick.
He's still, I wouldn't do that, honestly. You go back all the way to 1960-something or 1970s, Bill Walton was one of the best players in the world. Came back with back issues with Portland. They won one ring in 1972. Had foot issues, was out of the league within 2 or 3 years. Then you go to Sam Bowie, as Anthony mentioned. He was a big bust. Greg Oden, who by the way looks like LeBron's father, but that's a different topic for another day. And then you talk about Yao Ming. In fact, Yao Ming had the same exact injury. Once his foot issues started happening, he was done. The Rockets championship window was closed. So, it's a big risk with big men. Feet and back are two big things that you can't really take chances with. But the rumors I've been reading, Philadelphia still really likes him at 3, and if he falls all the way to 10, Philadelphia has a 10th pick also. So he's gonna be a top 10 pick. And I've also read Boston likes him. So we'll see.
Okay. Good points all around. Let's go more in depth about the NBA. There have been rumors about the development of young players either in the NCAA or the D League. What are your opinions on that, Jillian?
All right, so I'm not really sure how I feel about this because as you know, there used to be a rule where you can skip college completely and go straight to the NBA from high school. Some of the best players have done that. Dwight Howard was one of the last players to do so. He has an extremely successful career. We know Kobe didn't go. There are a ton of players who just skip college altogether. And it's kind of hard to have an argument when you have Kobe. But then again, there's players like Kevin Durant. He went to Texas for a year, and yes, we loved that 1 year we had with him. But did we really make him anything? I'm not so sure. And then you look at a player like Corey Joseph. He was in the D League, and now he was on the Spurs. He went to the championship with them last year and won it this year. So it's a very hard thing for me to pick. I personally believe that the D League might do more to mold a player than the NCAA does, especially when these guys are just going for a year. Does that really have that much effect on them as a player? I'm not so sure. I think the D League is the best practice they can get for the real big thing.
Okay. And Mayank, what do you think?
I think college is good for these athletes. I mean, although they may not see it right now, I think it's like 98% of these people won't be making it to the professional league, so education is good for them. But then you look at people like P.J. Harrison, who got kicked off the North Carolina team and went to the D League, made some money, and now he's going to be a top 15 to 20 pick for this year's NBA draft. So, I mean, I think it's case by case. There was an example a few years ago of a top 5 recruit named Jeremy Tyler. Jeremy Tyler went to Europe, came back to the NBA, and went undrafted. So, I mean, it's a case by case basis. You have to be careful, and you have to know what your skill level is and go from there.
Okay, Anthony.
I really agree with Jillian. I think these players who go 1 year, NCAA doesn't really help them develop, because then you can look at players like Patty Mills or Jeremy Lin who played in the D League and they came out. Jeremy Lin had Linsanity. Patty Mills just helped the Spurs win a finals game against the Spurs, or against the Heat. Sorry. But yeah, the D League really does more, and Euro Leagues do more too. And I feel like the players who need to go to college, they know they're not going to the NBA straight after a year. So the players who go to college is more for people who are trying to get their education while playing sports.
Okay, cool. So after the second round, we have Mayank leading the group with 15 points, Anthony with 14, and Jillian with 11. Any last words, Jillian?
Wow, the second take hosts are out of it. Ron, I take this a little personal because you know I was killing those debates, but man, you gotta put the queen down, I guess. I gotta sit down on this one.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna head to the last and final round. We'll start off with Anthony. I know you mentioned him earlier with the Warriors debate. What do you think about Kevin Love's situation in Minnesota and how they're trying to trade him?
Well, I think Kevin Love's out for sure. He's not going to re-sign with the Timberwolves at all. And I've actually seen a trade rumor that the Lakers, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors are in a 3-way trade where the Warriors would get Love, the Lakers would get Thompson, and the Lakers would give up their 7th pick. So that would be an interesting scenario for him to the Warriors. I also think he'd like to go to New York and play for Phil Jackson, because anyone who plays for Phil Jackson, you're guaranteed some type of ring. I don't care. Phil Jackson's an amazing coach. But even though he's not coaching, he has under his wing Derek Fisher, who knows the triangle offense just as he does. And I think Love's an unselfish player to where he's willing to take a pay cut, even though he hasn't gotten that big paycheck yet.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
Love doesn't have many options, honestly. He's going to leave after next year, right? So the place that trades for him has to understand that in order for them to trade for him, he has to sign an agreement. So what I'm trying to say is Cleveland's not going to trade for him knowing that he won't sign an agreement next year. So at this point, he has 2 or 3 choices. He has Chicago, he has Golden State, and he has potentially Boston. And Golden State apparently doesn't want to include Klay Thompson in the deal. And Cleveland doesn't want to include the number 1 pick. And then Chicago right now is putting all its eggs in the Melo basket. So I don't know. Kevin Love's in a really tough spot. If I was him, what I'd do is I'd wait until he's a free agent, and then who knows, maybe he can sign with LA. We'll see what LA is doing, and then if he really, really wants New York, which is what it sounds like, he'd go to New York. But personally, I want to go to Chicago, but whatever. That's not happening.
So there's the Chicago, New York. He has a lot of options, but he has a lot of competition with Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James and other big names. Let's go to the City of Angels, the LA Lakers. What do you guys think about their coaching and draft situations, as well as their future moving on with or without Kobe Bryant? Let's start with you, Mayank.
Coaching wise, I think they're waiting for free agency. I think they're gonna contact LeBron. They're gonna contact Melo. They're gonna say, who do you want coaching our team? Regardless of what they say, I don't think either of them is going to LA. Draft wise, they're in a decent spot. Has a number 7 pick. I've read they like Randall. They like Marcus Smart if he falls there. Potentially trading up for Embiid if he falls down to 5 or something like that. They're in a decent spot there. Or they can trade for Klay Thompson if that proposed Kevin Love deal goes down. I mean, they have assets. Kobe's contract is awful. Jurgen Klinsmann came out the other day and destroyed Kobe Bryant for that deal and stuff like
At the end of the day, Kobe Bryant's a 5-time champion. You
Yeah.
get him for that. All right, Anthony, what do you think?
Well, my take on the Lakers is Kobe Bryant's not going to let them miss the playoffs again, first off. So they're making the playoffs next year. Kobe Bryant, I'm confident in his skill to come back and kill the league. But with their draft, I think they're looking at Aaron Gordon, and I think with this Embiid injury, there's a possibility he could fall because it looks like Boston was going to draft him, but Boston might draft Embiid. So I feel if the Lakers don't trade their pick, they're going to take Aaron Gordon with that pick. I feel they're trying to get rid of everything Phil Jackson, as they didn't offer him the job, they didn't look at Fisher, and they didn't even hire Brian Shaw a few years back when they had the chance. I think the owner of the Lakers, he's kind of bitter towards Jackson, and so what they're doing is I've heard that Byron Scott is the front runner for the job, so maybe they're trying to go back to that Pat Riley era. I'm not sure, but whatever the Lakers are doing, they're smarter than we all know because they always come out on top. So,
Okay. Now, let's go to baseball. Another giant market team, the Yankees. With Derek Jeter retiring at the end of the season, where do you see the Yankees in the future? We'll start off with you, Mayank.
Well, their farm system's weak, honestly. If you look at Baseball America and stuff like that, their farm system's ranked in the bottom half of the American League and in the whole MLB. They have some pretty good position players. They're locked under Alex Rodriguez contract for the next 3-4 years, so that's an issue. Honestly, Jeter's been a shell of his former self. Their position players are aging. Teixeira is getting up there in years. They lost Cano. Honestly, they have to hope on pitching. They have a pretty damn good rotation. They have Tanaka. They have Ivan Nova, who's injured. I mean, CC Sabathia. Hopefully, their draft last year was pretty good. They already have some players in AA and stuff like that. Just draft well, and hopefully those players turn into something. But I think next few years are going to be rebuilding, honestly. Their players are getting up there.
Wow. All right. What about you, Anthony?
yeah, I agree because if you look at the Yankees for the past few years, they've been crumbling. As in, they've had the A-Rod thing. Robinson Cano left, Nick Swisher has left, and Jeter, he's really the only player left that they can say, yes, Yankees, we have Jeter. And their talent level has been going down as the years have come. I mean, the Yankees will be fine because they're the Yankees, but they're going to start a rebuilding process. They're going to start all their old players. They're going to start slowly letting them go, just building through the draft. And I think they'll be fine. They're just like the Lakers. They somehow find a way to be on top.
Well said, well said. Okay, after the third and final round, we have Anthony winning it all with 21 points and Mike in second place with 19. You get 30-second face time, Anthony. It starts now.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to the Second Take host, Armin and Jillian, for having me on this show. And I'd like to say you were a great host for today. And I'd like to say good job transitioning and everything. And I'm glad to be here. Hopefully I can be back and, talk more sports. That's what I do.
Okay, cool. So this is the 20th episode of Second Take. I was your special host for today. I'm going to bring it back now to the main people. Jillian, Armand, it's all yours. Go ahead, Jillian.
I'd like to say that after this episode, Ron is fired. You will never see him on Second Take again. He let the host go, and that's just unacceptable. Second Take till I die. We should have won this, Armand. We should have won this.
I still have the power of me. And so, Armand, what do you have to say?
Yeah, it really hurt to be knocked out first. You know, I came in here very confident. I was ready to knock the competition out, but I'm taking Anthony under my wing. I said I was Team Anthony. He ended up winning. Very happy about it. Mayank, you were great. You really knocked me out with a lot of the facts you had, a lot of statistics. You definitely know your stuff. We'd love to have both of you back on the show. Ron, you're fired, so don't ever ask again. But I guess you were an okay host. We want to thank you all for joining us on episode 20. It was great. Definitely great to do around the horn. We've got a match on the next 10 episodes. Episode 30 is 10 episodes away. So get ready for that, and just thank you guys.